The Honda HR-V is all new for 2023 and it's grown in size. It's almost as big as that train behind me. No, I'm kidding, it's not as big as that train behind me, but it is almost as big as the very first generation Honda CR-V. In fact, it actually has more front and rear legroom than that first gen CR-V. Not as much headroom because the roofline is a little bit lower on this HR-V, but still very spacious. So what's the rest of this car like? Let's go for a drive and find out. Compared to last year's model, this new Honda HR-V has a bigger engine. It is now a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, and the output is now 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said that this was more than enough power for this new HR-V, but at times it does feel a little bit underpowered, even though it is more horsepower and torque than last year's model. This new 2023 HR-V is also heavier than last year's model. So when you accelerate from a stop on city streets, it's okay. The RPMs climb to about 2,000, maybe a little bit above that, and you get off at a decent pace. It's when you drive on highways and you want to overtake someone, that's when this engine really feels underpowered and as though it's really struggling. Don't be surprised if you see the RPM needle hit the 4,000 or 5,000 mark. I'm a little bit surprised that this new 2023 HR-V does not have the 1.5 turbo engine from the Civic, because looking under the hood, there is plenty of space to fit that little engine in there. As well, I'm also surprised that the fuel economy that this all-wheel drive version of the HR-V gets. I was expecting it to be a little bit better. Currently, I'm averaging about 9.4, 9.5 liters per 100 kilometers. The best I was able to do on just one trip was 9.2 liters per 100 kilometers. And it's not just me having a heavy foot, because this trip computer can tell you your fuel economy from previous trips. And I've seen the previous trips that this car has done with other automotive journalists, and they've been getting worse fuel economy than what I've been managing. To drive on city streets, this new 2023 HR-V is very easy. The turning circle is really good, and steering is also really light, so it makes it very maneuverable. It does feel bigger than last year's model because, well, it is physically bigger than the previous generation, but it doesn't feel as big as something like a Honda Pilot, for example. The brakes are firm when you really need to stomp on them, like that, and they're strong, of course, but they're also pretty easy to modulate when you're just, again, driving around town. And the CVT automatic does a good enough job of keeping the RPMs really low when you're cruising, and it bumps them up accordingly when you really put your foot down. But again, that engine, it feels really underpowered when you want a burst of acceleration from the car. Continuing with the easy to drive and city theme, the 2023 HR-V is not too jarry over potholes. The suspension can soften the blow of deep potholes without making the whole car wobble and feel as though it's going to fall apart. Composed is a good way of putting it. The seats, however, are a little on the stiff side. They are manually adjustable, even on this top-spec EXL trim, and unfortunately do not have any sort of lumbar adjustment. As I mentioned at the start of the video, this 2023 Honda HR-V has more front and rear legroom than the very first generation of the Honda CR-V, and that is very evident as soon as you step into this car. As you can see, I have more than enough legroom for my tall 6'4" height. Same goes with headroom, more than plentiful. Granted, this seat is in its lowest position because that's just how I like to drive cars, but even so, I have excellent visibility out the front, out the side, and even out the back. As for the rest of the interior, It is very reminiscent of the current generation Honda Civic. Same steering wheel, same infotainment system, same honeycomb mesh that's in front of the air vents, same climate controls. The only thing that's different is the center console, which is very similar to the previous generation Honda HR-V. So you have this space right here for your wallet or smaller stuff, and two USB ports to either side. In all, I really can't complain about this interior because everything on it works. The infotainment system is super easy to use. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. It also has physical volume knob as well as physical home, back, and radio tuning buttons. There's wireless phone charging. Cup holders are right in front of the shifter. Drive modes are right here on this floating bridge arrangement. And yeah, honestly, like I said, it's really simple and straightforward. There's nothing that I can nitpick about it. Oh no, wait, there's one teeny tiny thing that I can nitpick about it, and that is with this center console lid. Can you hear that? It always makes that clicking noise as soon as you put any sort of pressure on it, but that's just a really small niggle. And in the back behind my driving position, again, more than enough space. Yeah, my knees are brushing right up against the back of the front seat, but they don't feel squished by any means. Headroom is a little bit less than in the fronts, but hair isn't really brushing up against the headliner, so more than enough space in the back seats. The only thing is, there's not really much to do back here. I mean, there's no armrest in the center, no USB ports, no vents either, and no heated seats. So yeah, not really much to do back here. You just sort of sit, twiddle your thumbs, and wait till you get to your destination. The trunk can accommodate 691 liters of space with the rear seats up and 1,559 liters of space with the rear seats folded. The backrest folds 60-40, and when they are folded, the floor is almost completely flat. The 2023 Honda HR-V starts at just under $29,000 Canadian for the LX two-wheel drive. This one is the EXL with navigation, and it'll cost you just over $37,000 Canadian. But at least for that money, it comes pretty well equipped. It has heated seats, in the front only though, heated steering wheel, wireless phone charging, sunroof, LED headlights and taillights, front and rear parking sensors, satellite navigation of course, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, and voiceover, takeover. What else does it have? Well, you pretty much covered all the big stuff, but smaller features on the HR-V include dual zone climate control, Bluetooth, leather upholstery, satellite radio, an 8-speaker audio system, backup camera, and auto power up and down front driver and passenger windows. So it's a pretty well equipped little compact SUV, even though it's almost $40,000 Canadian. Here in Canada, the 2023 Honda HR-V has every safety and driver aid that is available on this particular vehicle as standard. So things like automatic emergency braking, lane keep, blind spot sensors, auto high beam, and adaptive cruise control, among many other features, are again all standard on the base trim. Unfortunately for the United States market, only the EXL trim has every safety and driver aid feature added onto it. The IIHS awarded the 2023 HR-V with a Top Safety Pick Plus award. It scored well in all crash tests as well as crash avoidance tests, with the only blemish being the acceptable rating for the LED headlights. Overall, the 2023 Honda HR-V is a good little compact car. Okay, maybe not so little because it's grown so much in size, but the interior is very spacious. There's also tons of gadgets in there. It's really easy to drive around the city. It's available with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and I think it looks pretty good. The only thing that's underwhelming about it is what's under the hood, the engine. It just feels underpowered for the size of this car. And also, I was expecting it to be a little bit more fuel efficient. But other than that, like I said, pretty good little compact car. If you'd like to know more about this 2023 Honda HR-V, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.